In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on February 15, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Wisconsin versus Purdue. This Saturday, the Wisconsin Badgers are set to take on the Purdue Boilermakers at Mackey Arena. This game marks the first meeting between these two Big Ten rivals for the season. Historically, Purdue has had the upper hand in this matchup, leading the all-time series 114-75. In their last 10 encounters, the Boilermakers have secured 6 wins straight up and have a 4-5-1 record against the spread. Notably, the over has hit in 8 of those 10 games, suggesting a trend toward high-scoring contests. Mackey Arena is renowned for its challenging atmosphere, often giving the home team a significant edge. However, I believe the Badgers are well prepared to rise to the occasion. Wisconsin excels in several fundamental areas, which should play a crucial role in this high-stakes game. They have a slight advantage in rebound rate and average fewer turnovers per game. Additionally, the Badgers boast the best free throw shooting percentage in the nation at 84.1%. While Purdue is undeniably talented and has an impressive 12-1 record at home this season, Wisconsin's consistency and resilience make them a tough opponent. The Badgers are 15-8-1 against the spread this year and are a well-rounded team that rarely gets dominated. They rank in the top 40 for scoring offense and top 70 for field goal percentage defense, which means they'll put up a strong fight. It's also worth noting that the underdog has covered the spread in 5 of the last 6 matchups between these teams. This game has all the makings of a thrilling Big Ten battle that could go down to the wire, so the Wisconsin Badgers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams bring strong offensive firepower to the table, making this matchup particularly intriguing. Purdue and Wisconsin are among the most efficient offenses in the country, with Purdue ranking 8th in adjusted offensive efficiency and Wisconsin close behind at 10th. On the defensive side, neither team has been particularly dominant, with both ranking 29th or lower in adjusted efficiency. This sets the stage for a game where offense takes center stage. Wisconsin averages the 28th most points per game nationally, while Purdue sits at 56th. According to Ken Palm, Purdue's offense is ranked 8th in adjusted efficiency and Wisconsin's is 10th, making them the top 2 offenses in the Big Ten. With so much veteran talent on display, I expect a high-scoring game where both teams could easily surpass 75 points. The over has hit in 60% of Purdue's games and 58.3% of Wisconsin's this season, and I see that trend continuing here. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston versus Arizona. The 6th-ranked Houston Cougars, boasting a strong 20-4 overall record and an impressive 12-1 mark in Big 12 play, are set to travel to Tucson for a high-stakes showdown against the 13th-ranked Arizona Wildcats. Arizona enters this contest with a 17-7 overall record and an 11-2 conference mark. These two teams did not meet last season, as Arizona was still competing in the Pac-12 at the time. Houston is riding the momentum of a solid home victory over Baylor, where they won 76-65 and successfully covered as 9.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, Arizona is coming off a tough road loss against Kansas State, falling 73-70 and failing to cover as 3.5-point favorites. Saturday promises to be an action-packed day of college basketball, and this Big 12 matchup is shaping up to be one of the marquee battles of the day. With Houston sitting at just 1 conference loss and Arizona trailing closely behind with 2, this game could have major implications for the top of the standings. Arizona has been one of the most formidable teams in the Big 12 over the last several weeks, so this will be a real test for both squads. While Houston has been dominant for most of the season, I'm not entirely convinced they are the superior team in this matchup. Additionally, home court advantage plays a huge role in this conference, and Arizona is always a tough team to beat in Tucson. The outcome of this game will largely be determined by which team dictates the style and pace of play. Houston thrives in a slow, physical, and defensive-oriented battle, which is not surprising given that they rank among the top 5 defenses in the nation. Conversely, Arizona prefers prefers to play a fast-paced, high-scoring style, and they have one of the best offensive units in the country. If Arizona is able to speed up the game and put pressure on Houston, it could be a long night for the Cougars. The Wildcats hold the edge in rebounding and three-point shooting, both of which could prove crucial in deciding the winner. Another key factor to consider is Houston's Emmanuel Sharp, who has been dealing with a lingering ankle injury. While he has managed to play through it, it's clear that he has not been at full strength. Against a top-tier opponent like Arizona, Houston can't afford to have one of their key players at anything less than 100%. These two teams haven't faced each other since their NCAA tournament clash in 2022, where Houston emerged victorious with a 12-point win despite being 2-point underdogs. This time around, Arizona will be looking to bounce back from a loss and avoid dropping 2 games in a single week. Historically, the Wildcats have responded well to losses, as seen in their 92-point outburst against Oklahoma State following their previous defeat. Arizona has proven that they can score efficiently against elite defenses, averaging 77 points per game against 3 of the top 4 defensive teams in the Big 12. Additionally, their offensive performance is significantly stronger at home, where they score an average of 10 points more per game than they do on the road. Arizona holds an 11-1 straight-up record at home and has covered the spread in 8 of those 12 games. They have also gone 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 matchups. Arizona has several advantages heading into this game, particularly given that they are playing at home. They match up well against Houston, especially in terms of perimeter talent, where they have a deep rotation featuring Caleb Love, Kylan Boswell, and Jaden Bradley. Houston relies heavily on their guard play, but with Emmanuel Sharp not at full strength, that could create problems for the Cougars. Sharp, Houston's second leading scorer, has failed to reach double-digit points in each of his last 5 outings, which is not an encouraging sign heading into a game against one of the top-scoring teams in the nation. If Houston wants to keep up with Arizona's firepower, they simply can't afford to have one of their primary scorers struggling. Arizona's strong backcourt and ability to dictate pace will likely be major factors, and they have already proven they can compete with and beat ranked opponents in the conference. Coming off a disappointing loss to Kansas State, Arizona should be fully locked in and motivated for this one, so the Arizona Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. While Houston's defense is undoubtedly elite, it is unlikely that they will be able to completely shut down Arizona's high-powered offense. The Wildcats have a well-rounded attack that spaces the floor well and plays with tremendous speed. Both teams are ranked among the best offensively. Arizona comes in at 18th in offensive efficiency, while Houston is even higher at 6th. Given that Arizona plays at a fast tempo, ranking 38th in the nation in pace of play, Houston will have to adjust and try to keep up. The Cougars can't rely solely on their defense to win this game, especially against a team with as much perimeter talent as Arizona. On paper, a game featuring Houston's elite defense might seem like an obvious candidate for the under, but the total for this matchup is low enough that the over is worth serious consideration. According to Ken Palm, Houston ranks 360th in tempo, so they are one of the slowest-paced teams in the country. However, they have still managed to score at least 72 points in 3 of their last 4 games and have put up 70 or more points in 5 of their last 7. Arizona, on the other hand, will push the pace even further, especially at home, where they thrive. Prior to their 70-point outing against Kansas State, the Wildcats had scored at least 81 points in 4 straight games and 78 or more in 6 consecutive contests. This season, the total has gone over in 26 combined games between these two teams. Arizona has hit the over in 4 of their last 5 games, while Houston has done so in 3 of their last 4. Given the way these teams are trending, this matchup has all the makings of another high-scoring affair. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Auburn versus Alabama. The Southeastern Conference is a battleground night in and night out, and this matchup will be no different as 2 of the top teams in the country go head-to-head in what promises to be an all-out war on the hardwood. Auburn, sitting at an impressive 22-2, will face off against Alabama, which isn't far behind at 21-3. Both squads currently sit atop the Southeastern Conference standings, each boasting identical 10-1 conference records, making this game not just a high-stakes contest, but also a potential preview of what's to come in March. And if that wasn't enough, this showdown isn't the last time these two will meet, as they will wrap up their regular season schedules with a rematch in the jungle, setting the stage for an even more intense battle down the road. This will be the first meeting of the season between these two, and the atmosphere is sure to be electric from start to finish. Auburn took a tough loss at home last weekend, falling to Florida 90-81. but the Tigers bounced back quickly, securing a much-needed win on the road at Vanderbilt, a place that has given other top teams like Tennessee and Kentucky plenty of trouble this season. On the other side, Alabama enters this matchup riding a 7-game winning streak, the 8th longest in the nation. However, only one of those wins came against a team ranked in the top 20 per Ken Palm's metrics. That raises some questions about just how battle-tested the Crimson Tide are against elite competition, which makes this game even more intriguing. When you're looking at a game like this, it's hard to argue against taking the points. No matter which side you're backing, you're getting one of the best teams in the country with a bit of cushion. And in what could be the biggest regular season game in Southeastern Conference history, that's a good position to be in. Auburn, though, has the toughness and talent to walk into Tuscaloosa and not just keep this close but potentially win outright. The Tigers' defense has been stellar, and with Johnny Broome back in the lineup, they have the size inside to battle Alabama on the boards. On top of that, Auburn hasn't had any issues putting up points when necessary, which will be critical in a high-stakes game like this. It's shaping up to be an incredible matchup, but at the end of the day, I want to be holding a ticket on Auburn with the points, so the Auburn Tigers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both of these teams have been nothing short of dominant offensively in recent weeks. Over their last 5 games, Auburn and Alabama rank in the 99th percentile or better in both offensive efficiency and points per game, according to CBB Analytics. These are, without question, the 2 best offensive teams in the Southeastern Conference, and both have the ability to score inside while also stretching the floor with perimeter shooting. One of Alabama's biggest strengths is their ability to push the pace. They rank in the top 3 nationally in tempo, and Auburn is not the type of team to shy away from that kind of track meet. In fact, when they faced another high-octane offense in Florida, the Tigers gave up 90 points and allowed 1 point per possession while still managing to put up 81 of their own. And that was despite relatively poor shooting splits, 48% from inside the arc, 32% from 3, and just 61% from the free throw line. If they can clean that up even slightly, they should have an easier time scoring against an Alabama defense that has struggled against top-tier competition, allowing an average of 87 points per game over their last 5 matchups against top 25 offenses. I don't have a strong lean on which team comes out on top, but one thing is for sure, this game is going to be an absolute shootout. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kentucky versus Texas. Every bit of action from the Southeastern Conference is exciting at this stage of the season, but don't let yourself get blindsided by surprises. This Saturday, the Kentucky Wildcats and Texas Longhorns are set to face off in a highly anticipated college basketball showdown at the Moody Center. The 15th-ranked Wildcats, who hold a 17-7 overall record, are coming off an impressive 75-64 victory over number 5 Tennessee. They pulled off that win as plus 3.5-point underdogs on their home floor, proving their ability to step up against tough opponents. Meanwhile, the Texas Longhorns, currently sitting at 15-10, had a much rougher outing in their last game. They were completely overwhelmed by number 2 Alabama, falling 103-80 at home despite being just plus 5 underdogs. This game carries extra intrigue because these two programs haven't shared a court in nearly a decade. Their last matchup took place all the way back in 2014. Unfortunately for Texas, they are heading into this game at a low point, struggling to match up against some of the more potent offenses in the Southeastern Conference. Alabama just torched them for 103 points, showing just how vulnerable their defense has become. Things won't get any easier for the Longhorns here, as they'll now have to deal with the second highest scoring team in the Southeastern Conference in Kentucky. The Wildcats have a clear advantage when it comes to rebounding and physicality, which they'll likely use to establish control early on. That said, Kentucky isn't exactly known for its lockdown defense, so expect this game to remain close with plenty of offensive fireworks on both sides. Recent form also favors Kentucky. The Wildcats have won back-to-back games, consistently putting up at least 75 points in the process. Texas, on the other hand, has lost 3 straight and has struggled to get key defensive stops when they need them most. One of the biggest differences between these two squads lies in their ability to defend the perimeter. Texas has allowed its Southeastern Conference opponents to shoot 36% from beyond the arc, while Kentucky has held conference foes to just 32% from deep. On the season as a whole, the Wildcats have kept teams below 30% from three-point range. Oddsmakers are giving Texas the edge simply because they are playing at home, which makes sense considering 10 of their 15 wins have come at the Moody Center. However, there's a strong case to be made that Kentucky is simply the better team right now. The Wildcats are fresh off their second upset win over Tennessee, and their offense ranks among the most explosive in the nation. We've already seen them handle business in a tough road environment at Mississippi State. Texas, meanwhile, has not only lost 3 in a row but also suffered a home upset loss to Arkansas. And let's not forget that ugly defensive showing against Alabama, where they gave up 103 points. If Kentucky can get into a rhythm and knock down shots, they have a legitimate chance to steal this game on the road. Texas will certainly try to keep things competitive on their home floor, but at the end of the day, this looks like another loss coming their way. If you need a reminder, just look at what Alabama did to them a few nights ago. There's no reason to think Kentucky won't take a similar approach and find success. So the Kentucky Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game sets up as a battle between two teams that both rank in the top half of the Southeastern Conference in scoring, with a combined average of 165 points per contest. If they are going to reach that number in this one, both offenses will need to come through in a big way. Texas doesn't typically push the pace. Ken Palm has them ranked 206th in tempo, but they do tend to score a lot more when playing at home. They're putting up 13 more points per game in their own building compared to their road performances. Over their last 4 contests, the Longhorns have averaged a strong 79 points per game. Kentucky, meanwhile, has scored at least 80 points in 5 of its last 10 outings and sits at 34th in the country in tempo. The Wildcats have no trouble playing fast and can dictate the pace when necessary, which means they should have no issue keeping up with Texas on their home court. Notably, the total has gone over in 26 combined games for these two teams this season. Each of Texas' last 4 games has gone over the total, and their defense has been a major reason why. During their ongoing 3-game losing streak, the Longhorns have allowed an average of 89 points per game. Their defense struggles to contest 3-point shots effectively, and they also give up a fair number of free throw attempts. On the other side, Kentucky is excellent at taking care of the ball, which should help them extend possessions and keep their offense humming. The Wildcats have now scored at least 75 points in 5 straight games, and that streak seems likely to continue here. As for Kentucky's defense, it hasn't been much better. The Wildcats allow an average of 82 points per game against Southeastern Conference opponents, including a whopping 98 points in their most recent road contest. Every time Kentucky has played on the road this season, they've allowed at least 70 points. Texas also does a solid job of protecting the ball, and the Wildcats have a tendency to send their opponents to the free throw line at a high rate. Given that the Longhorns are averaging 84 points per game at home, they should have no problem getting their share of points in this one as well. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.